Hey, book friends, it's Caitlin and little Tishka here. I read a lot of books last month, a lot of thrillers that I realized I didn't post videos about, and a lot of them were really good. Other ones I didn't even finish. So I thought it would be fun to try one of these recap videos where you say yes, no, maybe and give spoiler-free descriptions and why the book was for you or not. So I'm going to do that today. So let's get started. Also, I read a lot of thrillers and horror mystery type of stuff, but that's not the only thing I like to review. That's kind of one mood, and my other reading mood is kind of weird, unhinged lit fic and romantasy. So I noticed that sometimes people will subscribe to me for my thriller videos and then unsubscribe from all the other books that I review. So I'm trying to think of a way to kind of resolve this so everyone can see what they want to see, but I don't know. Anyway, the first book I want to talk about is called What Happened to Nina. This goes in the yes category. 5 raging stars for this mystery. It's about this girl named Nina. She starts off telling the story about her relationship with her boyfriend and how he starts to be kind of abusive and that she wants to break up with him. And then 3 days later, Nina has disappeared, and the rest of the story is told through her family and friends as well as other people in her town. And it's just trying to find out what happened to her. And this is really good, and I feel like it's the most realistic thriller I've ever read. It just feels so real. I have a full review on it, but this book just definitely rocked my world. I can't recommend it enough. I want to talk about Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. This is the second book that I've read by her, and I have to say, I am terrified and amazed by this author at the same time. She just writes really, really dark stuff, but it's amazing. The other book I read by her was Jar of Hearts. But this book, Little Secrets, is about this mother, and she ends up losing her 4-year-old son in the middle of Pike Place Market in Seattle. She lets go of his hand for a second, and he is kidnapped by a guy dressed in a Santa Claus outfit. A year and a half goes by, and there's no new information. She's really starting to go off the deep end, and she starts discovering all of these little secrets that everyone around her has. Her husband is having an affair, and she finds out some stuff about her best friend, and it is just wild. It is the most insane twist. I just love this book. It's just epic. 5 stars. You got to read it. All right, guys, let's talk about the maybes. The first maybe book I want to talk about is called The Drowning Woman. Okay, if you like the Housemaid series, I feel like this would be a yes for you, but it just got kind of crazy for me. It's about this woman who is down on her luck. She used to own her own restaurant, but it went under during COVID, and now she's kind of on the run because she has a lot of debts that she owes to dangerous people. She's living out of her car, and one morning she wakes up because this woman is trying to drown herself in the ocean, and she ends up saving her, and they kind of start to become friends. And this woman asks her to help her escape her marriage to her husband, who abuses her. And kind of like I said, in the fashion of the Housemaid series, the next part of the book just turns everything on its head, and there's just a lot of twists. I was into this book for the first half, but then when things started just becoming twist after twist after twist, it just made me a little bit too tired, and I started to feel less interested in the book, and it just felt like it went on for too long. But yeah, I still was interested, but this is just kind of a maybe for me. A book I'm putting in the maybe category is Swallow the Ghost. Everyone is talking about this book right now like it's this big, underrated literary thriller gem. And you know what? I'm big enough to recognize when a book goes over my head or that it's just not my vibe. And I think this book might be one of those for me. I actually abandoned this 20 pages in because I was just not feeling it. I might come back to it. I could see I can recognize that there's literary talent there, it's well written, but I hate Groundhog Day type of stories. They just annoy me to no end. And also the premise is so confusing, and I read right before going to bed, and so it was just too much for me. Basically, she works in social media, and she's working with this author who she's also sleeping with. And his story is like going on online. Like the characters in his like book are like different accounts on Twitter, and you have to like follow them to see like what they're doing like in their lives, to see like how this like girl went missing. The kind of confusing for me. But anyway, it's just like the vibes are like really toxic. Like the FMC treats herself like a human garbage can, and I just like was not feeling into this book. I might come back to it, but probably not. I don't know. It's time to get to the no's. And I feel like this goes without saying, but just because these were no's for me doesn't mean that they can't be like yeses for you. These are just books that bothered me for some reason or another, which I will explain. The first one I want to talk about is this new thriller called When She Was Me. I was listening to this as an audiobook, and I ended up giving up like a third of the way through it because I just didn't like it. It's about these two twin sisters that live in Tennessee in this like ugly campsite. And one of them might be some kind of psycho killer because we keep getting these like blasts from the past, like insinuating that she might have like killed girls before. We don't know why, but it's just like constantly present, past, present, past. And now, like, this girl at the campsite, this 15-year-old girl, has gone missing and has wound up like dead. And so her twin sister is like, oh my God, maybe my sister really is a killer. And I just like was not feeling this book. Like, it's trying to be really foreboding, but I feel like they just like gave, I don't know, too much information away. And I was like, I don't want to listen to something for 10 hours just to have it confirmed that, like, yes, the twin sister is a killer. Or what happens with a lot of like twin stories is like, ooh, twist, like it's not this twin, it's the other twin. So I just gave up, but I don't know. A lot of people seem to really like this book. Let me know if you've read it. Another thriller that I gave up on, so it's in the no category, is called The Expat. This is an espionage thriller about this Chinese American who ends up like working for the Chinese. And it started off like really well, but it was just annoying to me because he's supposed to be like this mega genius. And basically, like, he gets into this like honeypot situation when this like hot woman from the dark web like starts to like talk to him and convinces him to move to China. And this is like where I gave up because I'm like, okay, he's supposed to be like so smart, and yet he can't like see that he's being manipulated like to no end. And so, and also there's a lot of talk about like self-driving cars. And at the beginning of the book, they give us like too much information. Like they show that he had to like flee and now he's like hiding in Australia. And so I feel like it's just going to be anticlimactic because we know that he's going to get caught and have to go on the run. And that would have been more fun to like discover in the book. So that's why I gave up on that one like 100 pages in. And those are all the thrillers that I read in January. I'm going to talk about a couple books that are on my February TBR. One of them is called You Are Fatally Invited, and this is actually publishing in like a week. I got an advance copy through NetGalley, and it's described as an exclusive thriller writer's retreat hosted on a private island turns lethal when one of the authors is found murdered in this twisty locked room mystery. So it's set in Maine and it's supposed to be very good. I mean, those are like pretty good ratings, I think. I'm looking forward to reading this. I'll let you guys know how it goes. The other NetGalley thriller I have waiting to be read is called A Beautiful Way to Die. This is being published in May, and this is supposed to be like a historical crime fiction book, Hollywood in the 1950s. And there's like two POVs. One is this like wannabe starlet, and she meets this like famous actor named Max, and then the other POV is Max's wife, who he ends up like divorcing and like leaves high and dry. It smells like there's going to be some revenge and trickery. This one looks really good. The reviews also look pretty positive, so I'm looking forward to reading that. I figure I might as well show you guys what's cooking on my Libby shelf, but this feels a little bit like I'm showing you like my underwear drawer or something. Okay, I have these books checked out right now. Kala is a Irish mystery that I've heard like really good things about. I have 18 days. We'll see if I get to that one. Creation Lake. Okay, I've already tried this one. I tried it a few months ago and I gave up after 100 pages because it just got a little bit confusing for me. Reading before bed. Might give it another go. Okay, Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. I've heard this one is really good because it's about this like unreliable narrator. And I've been thinking about this author because I know that her new book just came out, Beautiful Ugly. And so I just feel like I should give her some attention. This book is just someone I follow on Instagram who just published their memoir. And yeah, that's kind of what is on my shelf for February. Thanks for watching this video today. Hope you guys liked it. Kind of a change of pace from my regular book reviews. So yeah, happy reading. Let me know what your thoughts are on the books I talked about and what you're going to read this month. Anyway, see you next time. Bye.